Okay, welcome back to Teaming with Nature's Probiotic Kitchen. This is part 2 for how to make milk kefir. If you've not watched part 1, freeze it, turn around, watch the other one first because I cover a couple bases there that's important to cover before actually turning over the kefir itself. This is a very, very simple process and it's just fabulous for us. So here we go, very simple here. I do it in a 2-step process. I'll explain why I do that. It's a process called ripening, and I'll introduce you to my girls here, my kefir grains. So, you hear that? It's active, it's alive. So, very simply what I do is I take the kefir grains, I put them in fresh milk like I'm about to show you. I set them on the shelf for a day, okay, for a 24-hour period. I bring that back down and that's this here now, okay? And then, let me talk you through it and then I'll do it and you'll see me do it. Then I take the kefir grains out of this. This is now kefir. I take the kefir grains out of this and I take this kefir and I set it back on the shelf for one more day and it ends up looking like this. Now in the video I don't think you're going to be able to see this, but you have a separation here to where you have the whey, which is more of like a liquid, on the bottom and the curds on top. This is, yep, little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet eating her curds and whey. Okay, this is real food. Alright, part of the thing of the Teaming with Nature philosophy here is bumping up against the cultural programming that says that you are crazy to ingest a milk product that's been sitting out of your fridge. You're going to die. You're going to get botulism. You're going to get something gnarly. Okay, and the bottom line is it's just not true. With the kefir grains, it's a lactic acid process, okay? Lactic acid fermentation going on here. In this lactic acid bath here, your pathogenic bacteria cannot live. Watch part 1 if you want more details of the benefits of lactic acid. Or watch my video about the ginger ale, actually, that's where it is. And the health-giving benefits of lactic acid. So, I take the milk, I put kefir in it, I put kefir grains in it, I set it out for a day, I bring it back, I pour it out, I set it out for another day, and I get my curds and whey breakdown. This I then drink, or put it into my smoothie actually. So here we go, alright? This is off the shelf, this is one day. It's a drink, it's a beverage. It's thinner than milk, the probiotic diversity is much greater. It's thinner than yogurt. The probiotic diversity in kefir is much greater than yogurt as well, as I'll get into in the video that's upcoming about the health-giving benefits of kefir. So here's the kefir grains, okay? They're like little, these organisms are, they're interesting little guys. It looks like a cauliflower little flowerette, really. To call it a grain is a misnomer. They're different sizes, okay? This is a little bit a smaller one. They can get a little bit bigger. This one I'm going to break apart. As they get so big, they kind of break apart, and this is how they propagate. And then you have extra kefir grains around that you can either blend up in your smoothie or eat if you're not feeling well or you need more health-giving benefits. The kefir grains are extremely health-giving, as I'll go into more detail in the future. So at this point, I simply take the kefir grains, I put them in a fresh jar. Again, it's such a lactic acid rich environment that I've been doing this for 2 years now, and you just don't get spoilage going on. It just, because of the lactofermentation, it just doesn't happen. So here's my Organic Pastures milk, my raw milk, Go Organic Pastures. You don't want to fill your jar up more than about 2/3 full. This kefir is active, okay? It's going to generate carbon dioxide from its process, from its lactofermentation, so it builds up a little bit of pressure in the jar, and if you fill it all the way up, the CO2 has nowhere to pressurize, and it can be dangerous. I mean, you could break the glass or something like that. So no more than 2/3 full when you make it, okay? So that's ready to go. This is refrigerated milk that I now put on kefir grains, and I will set that out for a day. I get it back, and what I now have is my kefir. Oh, I don't have another jar ready for myself. That's okay. This is my day-old kefir that I just took out of my jar here. I'm going to take this now and put this back in a jar. I normally use a clean jar, but that's okay for this purpose of this video. Put this back on the shelf for another day, and then that will ripen it to this point. Okay, the ripening process that I've just discussed, you can do it from anywhere from 1 to 4 days. All right, let me explain why you would do this a little bit. I do it because I like the flavor better, because I believe it's more cultured, it's more fermented at that point. If those of you out there who are lactose intolerant, lactose is a milk sugar present in cow's milk and many dairy products. A lot of people are finding that they don't have lactase, which is the enzyme present in raw milk. Incidentally, if you're lactose intolerant, you can drink this because why? It's raw. The enzymes are still alive in it, and so you'll have the lactase in your belly to be able to digest the lactose. Now, some people are very lactose intolerant, in which case they can't even drink the kefir like this. So ripening it is going to further break down the lactose and further pre-digest the casein, which is a milk protein. Okay, so it's going to digest the lactose and the casein more. It's just going to make it more bioavailable, which is really the process of this whole kefiring. It makes the nutrition of the milk not only more bioavailable, but it also increases the nutrition. In particular, the B vitamins go way up, the choline goes way up, and as you know, those of us who have done any type of working out know that the whey, which is the clear liquid at the bottom here of my kefir, the whey is the most bioavailable source of protein for humans. It's fabulous for us. So that's the steps. Really, really simple. I take that and I put it into my blender with a few ingredients and make my smoothie for the day. So I will show you about making this smoothie in the future. Keep an eye out for a couple of videos. Number one that is on my task list right now is why make kefir? What's the health-giving benefits? And I'm going to cover specifically kefir as a whole system immune boost. And I'll cover a lot of the details about kefir grains and why kefir grains are so good for us as well.